And today we are joined with a healer, an apostle, a counselor, Apostle William Prince Mwangangi. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So, why Prince?
What a question.
Yeah. Why Prince?
Let me say that names have power.
Names have power.
And for a long time, I've been fighting with some names which were given to me. So understand, I come from a Kamba background.
Yeah.
And Kamba are a little bit superstitious. They have a lot of traditional aspect to it. So after a while, I had to talk to my mother why I was given the second name, which was by the name Musyoki. And then my mother told me that that name was given by one of the witch doctors when I was born, because they claimed that the time I was born I was blind, I could not see for almost 2 weeks. So they went to inquire from a witch doctor about me. So they were told, your son will be replacing a powerful leader. So he's a comeback leader in Kambaland. So you have to call him Musyoki, meaning he has come back, the leader has come back, the one who used to lead the people. So when after getting the information, I felt it's not right for me to be connected with those kind of traditional spirits, which the name came from a witch doctor after their own predictions.
So you had to change it.
So I had to change it.
Okay.
So I had to pray to God, cancel that name which I was called before in the presence of God. You don't just cancel any name anyhow. You have to approach God and you cancel that name and the power which is behind it. And then you pick another name which will be in line with your life.
Okay.
And then you begin to answer that name and the blessing begins to come. So that's why I had to cancel Musyoki.
And say you are Prince.
And then I took the name Prince. So my names are William Prince Mwangangi. Mwangangi is my father's name. So the one which was my name was Musyoki, which I don't like. And I'm changing everything. The IDs, everything they are in the process.
That is great.
Yes.
So you said you were born in Kambani. How was it like growing up?
You know.
And when was that? When were you born? Really? Can you give us a year?
I was born in April 1873. And I was born in Mombasa then.
Mombasa.
Yes. My father used to work in Mombasa. And he was in police force. He's a traffic officer. And then he passed on 83. So I've been raised by a single mother. So being raised by a single mother, a lot of challenges. So I went through a lot. I had to go back to Kambani to finish my primary school, which I went until class 8. Then I finished there. I passed looking for high school. And then I happened to land in rural school.
Rural school?
Yeah, just rural school here. I did my Form 1 and then there was no more school fees. I had to leave Form 1 second term. There was no more school fees. You know, being brought up by a single mother who had a challenge of raising 7 kids at the moment. Was 7 of us. It was a big challenge. So I had to drop from school. And I remember the time the Lord gave me a calling. I was in Form 1 in rural school.
Form 1.
Is when I got born again. And in that school, that time I had a ministry to wake people up at night and go to pray 5 o'clock in the morning.
Amazing.
And after doing that for a month or 2, there was revival in the school. Most kids were getting saved. Most children were getting saved. And then I had to leave the school because of the lack of school fees. Then I became a street preacher.
Street preacher.
I preached in Kariako.
That is at the age of?
I was 18, 19 that time.
So you are the firstborn, you are there?
No, I wasn't the firstborn. I'm the third born in our family.
You are the thirdborn.
I have a brother ahead of me and a sister between me and my other brother. So I'm the third one.
So you are preaching in the streets of Nairobi?
I preached in the streets of Nairobi.
At 19?
Yes, 19 because I got married at 23 years
So
old.
how does somebody decide To leave school and go start preach.
It's a calling.
It's a calling.
When we talk about we talk about a ministry. People can get to ministry without being called by the Lord, looking at the aspect of money or to make money. But mine, I can say, was a calling. Because the time I got born again in high school, after 2-3 months, I had to drop out from the school, no school fees. Then I began to preach in the streets. I could not stay with the message in my spirit. It was burning until I had to preach in Kenya buses. I had to preach in Kariakoo supermarket. I had to preach in Aga Khan Walk without equipment. I could just go there with 3-4 friends of mine.
You preach.
We preach, we sing some songs. People think you're crazy.
And at that time,
That's how it began.
where are you sleeping? Where are you sleeping?
I was living in Uruma.
Uruma. Alone, or you have...
I was staying with my cousin by that time. I was not working. I could trek from Uruma to town and back.
Go preach.
Go preach and back. Sometimes I could get to Kenya bus by then. Go to town, preach, come back.
At least.
So it was a calling.
It was a calling.
So there's a calling and a profession. Some people who are preaching, serving God for money. But whether I have the money or not, I have to preach the gospel. That's my calling.
So at the age of 19, what are the challenges? Except that now you don't have the money, yes, as you're ministering at the age of 19. Nobody will really take you seriously. Because people ask, what has the Lord done for you at the age of 19 really? Actually,
the challenge was I was not very eloquent in English.
Now that you had not gone to school.
Because I don't go to school. I was not very eloquent at that time. So I was struggling with English a lot. You know, having come from a Kamba background, sometimes even the English is not very polished. So I come from that. So I had a challenge in English at that time. And then I had a challenge of people accepting you at that young age. But the charisma I had in the spirit gave me the drive to preach.
When was that big break, as I would use that word, when was that big break as a preacher? Or who took you by the hand and maybe showed you the way? Maybe somebody who nurtured you, somebody you can say that really helped you do the way?
Actually, let me say that in that time I was preaching, I happened to go to a crusade in Thika. Having been preaching as a freelance preacher by that time, I happened to join a crusade in Thika, hosted by the late Ben Bahati. So when I met Ben Bahati, there was a church at that time which invited me to join it in Thika, and I met Ben Bahati. He was the host of the crusade supporting the church. So after being with the Ben Bahati and the team for a week, I came back to Nairobi with Ben Bahati. Then we began to do soul winning with him, with his team, travel a little bit. Then later I had to go back to the church in Thika, which called me to be their evangelist. So I stayed with them for 1.5 years.
Now, what was the name of the church?
It was called Christian Fellowship Church. So I was the evangelist at the time. The church happened to split. The pastor left the church. Left alone now with 20 members.
You?
Yes. Green in the ministry.
At the
age of 20 years.
20 years.
Actually, no, at the age of 19 years.
19 years still.
Struggling, you know. I am green in the ministry. 20 members because the church has split.
You have poor English.
I have poor English, but then my English was not very bad by that time. I had grown a little bit. No, you can grow in it.
Yeah, you can grow.
So I really struggled to bring up the church. We happened to be auctioned. You cannot raise the money of the building. They took the seat one day. I was coming from Thika town and rejoicing, you know, coming to my cube where I used to stay next to the church. When I looked from far, I saw the auctioneers had come. The landlord brought the auctioneers. They took everything from the church. Only they took everything until what I was left on me was what I could survive on. So I came, I found everything is, the doors are buckling each other. Nothing there. So we had to shift from there now. Look for a place to sleep. Look for somebody's house, small rooms, and bring the people in on Sunday, do a service.
That is wonderful.
So I've been auctioned twice
As a preacher,
as a preacher,
trying to bring the gospel to the
trying to bring the gospel into the people, to the people of God. I have lived for a month without constant support, believing God to eat every day from friend's house. You don't know where to get the next bread. That I've done over 1 or 2 months in Thika. Thank God by then I wasn't married. I was a single man,
and
young man, but vibrant.
And by that time, didn't you ever think like, I can get a job now. Let me just go. I leave this preaching. I go and take something and do.
My brother, I tried one time to go look for a job at Ken Blessed factory where they make the breads. When I went there, I wanted a casual work. I had to be a brother like a casual laborer. At the gate, the Indian, when he saw me, he said, he blasphemed me. He said, young man, wewe mjinga, rudi huko, umetoka kwa Mungu, rudi. An Indian,
He doesn't know you.
he doesn't know me, but he was talking to me like he knew me. He told me he can't employ me, I'm running away from God.
It was a calling.
Because it was a calling. So I had now to go back to the room I was staying with a friend of mine called Kenyanju. She lives in Thika. I took a blanket. I said, God, I have to die. I can't suffer. I've suffered enough. I have to die. I don't want to preach this gospel anymore.
And I'm suffering.
I'm suffering. I don't have any money. Even clothes. We have to be sharing clothes with my friend. Eating is a problem. You are preaching the gospel. The burden is killing you to preach the gospel. So what I did, I took a blanket and I said, as Elijah went under that tree and he tried to kill himself, I'm going to die today. Took a blanket, covered myself. I said, I'm dying. Lord, I'm coming to you. Take my spirit. I thought I would die. So I ended up sleeping.
You're sleeping.
After half an hour, I woke up. I'm still alive.
And you're like,
I never died. So I'm like, what do you want with me, God? I could say, God really deceived me, and I'm really deceived. You know? So I can say my life has been a calling.
It has been.
It's not something I had planned to do. I desired myself to be in the army.
You wanted to be an army.
I wanted to be an army person, especially as a pilot.
As a pilot.
That was my passion.
But God had other
But
plans.
God had other plans. So I had to obey. And I have to preach this gospel. And that's why I don't want to become a burden to people. I can do my own little businesses, get my own money, preach the gospel. That's what I was saying. I better do some little business here and there. Support my preaching of the gospel. Like Paul the Apostle. He was a tent maker. Yet, great revelation, preach of the gospel. And that is my concept.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you short. We are going to take a short break, our viewers. In a bit, we'll be back with a powerful story of Apostle Mwangangi. He has not yet finished. It is indeed a very lengthy but very powerful story.
Even my going to America was also a miracle because nobody was hosting me in America. I happened to get a visa through a missionary. And then I landed in America, JF Kennedy Airport, without somebody to welcome me. I had to believe God to get the way out.
I'll have to stop you there. Wait. This is after you were from 19, you were preaching, you had 20 members.
Yes.
Now you have gotten a visa.
Okay, to take you a little bit back, you have asked about the church, how began the church.
Yeah.
The church came about 1999. But then I was a family man. I had, of course, if you read the story of Thika, I worked with Pius Moiro, came back from Thika, worked with Max Mann for some time. Then I went on my own. After that, fully grown now. Later I got married. I settled down. 99 I traveled to US. Actually it was 97. Stayed in America for 6 months. Went to America miraculously with one-way ticket. Didn't have a place to sleep. God connected me with somebody in the US. Happened to stay there for 7 months. Tremendously, God blessed me in the US. Quickly, I came back with sound system, money to put up a church, money to buy my own car, and life changed from there. But God moved so much mightily with me in the US. People are giving money in the streets. Could be somebody the money.
So you are preaching in the US?
Yes, I preached in the US for 6 months.
Amazing.
And God opened so many doors for me then in the US. So I came back with enough money to bring in the church, enough money to settle my family, start a ministry, sound system, generators. So I came full packed.
Full packed.
And I began the church. The first church we started in Githurai 45, 1999, December. So they began the church. 20 members, did a small structure. Then we had a sound system, got some guys to sing, and my wife was a singer, so we started from there. And here we are.
That is amazing.
12 years later.
12 years
later.
So how many churches are under Jesus Manifestation Church?
We have not expanded a lot as we want to. But we have like 20 branches as we speak. I'm feeling now energetic to start a lot of crusades around Nairobi and around the country. I haven't done that for a long time. I've been measuring myself, equipping myself with the word, equipping the church, the workers, and now we are planning to go big. Yes.
You've also mentioned that you are a businessman. So what business maybe do you do in your part-time?
I do a lot of business. I used to import cars, especially the Range Rovers, any European vehicle. I have a partner in the UK. Any European vehicle, I used to bring them. Brought for several MPs, made some good money, thank God. And then I also deal a little bit with some gemstones, connections, some few countries. Once in a while, I travel.
So how do you balance this? How do you balance? You have family, you have business, and you have a congregation that the Lord expects you to lead. In fact, lead in a proper way. So how do you balance it?
Do you know you can travel today? On Sunday night, after preaching on Sunday morning, 2 services, take a flight, go to either Bangkok or London, do your business. Friday you're back here, and no one knows that you are out of the country. So it's just a matter of balancing the ministry, your business, and family. And then you can do that traveling out once a month based on how busy your business is.
So your family is, how big is your family? You have children?
I have 3 precious kids. Precious. They are my heart. They make me work. A son and two girls. A wife. A singer. Yeah. So That's my blessing
That's your
from God.
blessing. That's your blessing from God.
Yes.
And you have mentioned about, earlier you mentioned about people who start churches because of profit. That
Yeah.
is something. So as a counselor and as a healer, why would you think somebody would just start, okay, it's good business, a church maybe is good business for somebody. So what can the church do to at least maybe curb that or bring you? They are talking of registration of churches, other policies, but in Kenya we have Chapter 4 Bill of Rights states that you cannot infringe of the right of a person to maybe be religious, yeah.
Yeah.
And so you can stay at home and start a church. So is that really right with you?
Let me say that having a church is a calling. You have to hear from God. I know we have crooked pastors, as we still have also crooked lawyers in every field. Not everyone is straight in every field. So people cannot be pointing fingers to say all pastors are bad. They are good pastors. Okay? Still there are bad pastors who are doing this to make money, to make profit. What I can say is this. Jesus made a very powerful statement when he said, it is his work. There is tares and there is wheat. Our job is, because when you look at the tares and the wheat, you cannot know which is wheat, which is the tares. So our job is not to bring separation. You might be trying to prune what is not right. So our job is to let them grow. It is the work of the Lord to bring that distinction. Who is right and who is wrong. Let those who want to begin a church to make money, let them continue. If they are serving the true God, let me tell you, you will never fight them. You will never stop them. If they're not serving the true God, they will never succeed. It will be like a bushfire, which begins today and tomorrow ceases. So it is our duty to discern who is a real pastor, having a calling from God. You need to pray and ask God, where God sent me to a right shepherd, because God knows his right people. So, but this issue of the government coming in the picture to streamline the church is not right. You know, let everybody do what they feel like doing. Let God be the judge in this matter,
And
not us.
okay. And also with God being the judge, can the church maybe come up with systems as you know, a church is a body. You have Protestants, you have the Catholic.
Yes.
It would be maybe essential if the church would come up with a body or a system to at least to save the Kenyan people from at least the fraudsters.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think that's a good concept. I believe, of course, we have evangelical churches of Kenya. We have already a body, which if you become a pastor today, your doctrine needs to be checked. And I believe if that body is set up well, because it's evangelicals, you know, if it's set up well, I think every church should reach the same body, and then there can be checks and balances. Where are you getting this kind of message from? Why are you selling this? Why are you selling brooms? Is that in the Bible where Christ sold brooms? You know, those kind of gimmicks in the church. So when we have a body which is overseeing all the churches, I think people can stay online. Yeah.
That is true. Another thing, your Jesus manifestation is located in Kiambu County.
Yes.
In Kiambu, in your capacity as a healer and counselor, we have a problem with the youth, drug and alcohol. So is the church really doing enough? Because we have the Mutuzo law, yes, but some things we need to deal with them from a church kind of aspect first.
It is a challenge.
It's a challenge.
The drug addiction is a challenge everywhere. Not only in Kiambu County, in Nairobi, in every other county is a challenge. And I believe as a church we are not doing enough. I think we need to come up with programs. Like I used to have a home where I could bring the kids from the streets and help them out. I had to close it down because of mismanagement. I could put people there, mismanage it. Because I used to be a little bit busy, traveling a lot. But I think I came up with an NGO myself, which we are working to help and to come up with a center whereby we can bring people addicted into a center. There's a house I took in Kimbo here, a big house. We are trying to furnish the place and then bring all these kids who are addicted. Our target was actually to bring prostitutes from the streets. Can you imagine? We are having 16, 17, 19 years girls in the streets because of lack of money. They will sell their bodies to make money. I've spoken to some they go to the church. They say, Pastor, we don't do this because we want. If we find an organization which can support us, give us some money to begin small businesses, then we can take clean and be church people. So I feel it's important, apart from people who are living in drugs, we are having a problem with prostitution. In Giveaway where we are, if you walk at night here, you'll be scared. Small girls are out there on Friday nights. Go to town, go to Koinange, go everywhere, go to Kiambu, go to Thika. It's a problem. So instead of us looking at only the aspect of the drug addiction, let us look at the life of these young girls who are also becoming victims of HIV. They are spreading HIV without even their consent. They don't want to do it like that. But the problem of employment, lack of food, they are driven to go out there and sell their bodies. So if you can come up with a body like that, which we are trying to bring up, that kind of a body, we have an NGO called Africa Wheels of Hope, which I started. Africa Wheels of Hope, reaching out to prostitutes in the streets to rehabilitate them, and homosexuals also. We're having a problem with homosexuals in schools today. Homosexuals is becoming a big problem. Our boys are not safe. Our boys are not safe. Don't think you're safe, you and I.
We are not safe.
We are not safe. So it's a problem, it's a challenge, it's a demon. We fight the demon through prayer and through our actions. Yes.
Indeed, you have talked about rehabilitation, which is great. But as Jesus Manifestation Church,
yes,
in 5 years, 10 years, where do you see yourself as a ministry?
Let me say that you have a great vision. I'm not that old, so we have a lot of great things ahead of us. We want to put up a cathedral here, which can seat 5,000, glass cathedral, basement parking, 7th floor office block, that is already set. We're just waiting for a confirmation with the land issue, which we've been having. When that is set, we start building. Yeah, so in the next, not even 10 years, 5 years from now, 5 years from now, we should be a step ahead. And then the same thing about rehabilitation. We are believing God to have a center whereby we can bring these women from the street, or even men. They go through a training, either for 2 months, we host them, we feed them, we do everything for them. Then we change their mind concept, because it's all about the mindset. We change the mind, the setting up of the mind settings, their mind concept. We change that. Then we show them the other positive side of life. So we are planning in the next 5 to 10 years from now, we should have touched lives. We want to touch lives. Apart from just crusades, apart from just doing TV shows. We need to touch lives practically, with changing lives in a sense of supporting people to begin businesses. Prostitutes who have been transformed from their prostitution, they become now church members. They have a family, married with good life, business people.
That is important.
That is, to me, that is more than just holding one crusade. Because if I can change a life like that, one soul before God is very important. So if you can change like 200 women and men, for instance, we support them, we change their mindset through programs. They begin businesses, they get families, they settle down, they become born again people. We have changed a community. We're going to have less of crime, because we will be having broken families, less crime, and then families will have developed in a better way to be the church. So that is the way I'm looking at it. The way of showing Christ practically.
Changing the lives of people.
Changing the lives of people.
So, Apostle,
yes.
What do people not know about you? What is that one thing that people don't know?
They don't know?
They don't know. Just
I think it's good for them to stay like that.
it's a secret.
If they don't know anything about me,
Yeah.
I think it's better to stay like
What
that.
is maybe that one thing that you do during your leisure time that people maybe you sing, maybe you dance, maybe
Singing is part of my ministry. I normally sing. Actually, I'm planning to release a CD, worship-based CD. That's part of me.
To make it more clearer, maybe I'd ask, what do you do during your leisure time? Because you are a busy man. You
Yeah.
have business, you have family, you have the church. What do you do to maybe relax, unwind?
I like doing gym
Gym.
a lot.
So you have
I set up a small gym in my house. I like doing gym. I like also movies. I like relaxing and watch a nice movie, you know. And what else can I say? What can I say? Basically,
basically you like anything.
and I like soccer.
You like soccer.
I like involving place whereby I can involve every part of me. Golf, I have never liked the.
It's too slow, maybe.
It is too slow for me. I like where I can run, clear muscle, a little bit. Where I can run a lot, and I like soccer. It involves the whole mental and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and in conclusion, maybe I would like you to, in your capacity as an apostle, as a healer and as a counselor, maybe somebody who is out there, young, maybe he wants to start his own ministry. Maybe he has maybe heard that God has called him.
Yes.
Maybe he wants, maybe he just has that idea. What can you tell them to do? Maybe they are steps.
It's very simple, my brother Karanja. It's very simple. First of all, make sure you are called by God. Don't get yourself involved in a ministry without identifying the calling. What has God called you to do? Are you an evangelist? Are you a pastor? If an evangelist, stay on the course of an evangelist. God will bless you there. Don't be a pastor because you can see us driving good cars. You're a pastor, you think there's more tide coming, Malachi coming through. It is not that concept. Be in a place God wants you to be. You know, if an evangelist, stay on your field. Pastor, stay. But first of all, identify the calling and where God wants you to be. Are you called? Second, you need to have a mentor. Without a father, you can never go further in life. Get a mentor. Somebody who can mentor, somebody you can talk to. Because ministry is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. You need advisors. People have gone ahead of you. If you are doing something wrong, they can caution you and tell you, son, you're going wrong here. So get yourself a mentor if you want to go far. And first of all, identify the calling. Make sure you're called by God. The rest will be the story to tell.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you, Apostle.
Thank you very much.
We have been with Apostle William Prince Mwangangi, who has indeed given us a very inspirational and powerful story. So tune in and join us next time. We'll have another very powerful story in